Hey, one more thing before you go. Good morning. Can you believe it's already the last Sunday in July 2022, Diane?
That the last day of
The last,
July.
yeah, the last day and the last Sunday. Well, today
Hard,
is, I'm sorry,
hard to believe.
hard to believe. Today is Over the Teacup Sunday, and we're going to introduce a brand new Over the Teacup segment that we think you guys are going to love. This is the first one. It's an introduction to our Over the Teacup after show. It's going to be a weekly segment where we talk about the last week's episode. Our intention is to start bringing on a member of the community who listened to that episode and let us know what they thought about it and what they liked about it and what they didn't like about it. And it gives you, our audience, our listeners, our community, our podcast family, the opportunity to come on the show and join the conversation with us personally. What do you think about that, Diane?
That's going to be fun.
It's
I
going to be
hope
fun.
hope you all take us up on it.
So, good morning and welcome to One More Thing Before You Go Over the Teacup After Show.
Oh, my makeup's going to run.
Hi, welcome back. As you know, I'm your host, Michael Hurst, and I'm here with my lovely wife and co host, Diane.
Hi, everybody.
We just had to laugh for a minute because there's kind of a little boo boo. We called her my co Hurst, which she kind of is, and
Oh,
well, she actually is,
yeah.
and as well as my co host. So it's pretty good. So, Diane, are you excited about starting a new conversation with a weekly after show?
Yes. Yes. Or is it? It's kind of a way after show.
Well, that's what I'm about to explain. I personally think this is a great opportunity to get the community involved. Our community, our one more thing before you go family, as I said earlier. And this week, we're going to give you an example of the show segment. Most of you are familiar with the after show as something that comes immediately after a program is aired. I think a lot of them are calling them uh,
Post show.
the what?
Post show.
Post show or the after dark show and that kind of a thing. We decided to wait just a few days so that we can bring on someone that has listened to the episode. We give them time. We give you time to listen to the episode. And then you can reach out to us and we'll pick somebody, pick one lucky person each week or maybe sometimes two. And they can share their thoughts about what they like about it and what you didn't like about it. So you can talk about your experiences too, if it relates to that. So if it does, we can include it in the segment.
Mhm.
What do you think of that?
That's going to be fun. I
That's
hope
good.
everybody.
I think so too. And again, it gives you an opportunity to join the conversation with us. And I'll tell you how you can do that at the end of the show. We'll give you all the details, tell you how you can just reach out. It can be very quick and easy. In this inaugural show, we're going to talk about episode 201, that thing about higher consciousness angels in the new earth. I kind of grappled with this title a little bit, but I remember I asked you, Diane, several times if we kind of played with the title for a little bit, but it it it's kind of self-explanatory. But it aired last Wednesday, and our guest in this episode is Seth Dietland. He's a certified hypnotherapist and a stream of conscious channel who works with the angelic realm. And I've talked to others who have worked with the angelic realm. This one was kind of unique, and we had a private conversation with him, met him in person afterwards, which I typically don't do with our guest, but this time it kind of worked out.
Yeah.
His communication with the angels centers around the subject of the conscious shift that we're all experiencing that will bring in the new earth and how to create miracles through accessing our higher conscious states. Um, I think it was a pretty good episode, don't you?
Yeah. It was really good. It was. He's he's just such an enlightening person. Like, you know, obviously we got to meet him in person, which was so great.
Yeah,
I hope we can do that again. But he literally brings a light into the room
he
and
does.
just and a very calming influence as well. And I think it came through in the episode as well. I think it's just his voice is very calming and
Yeah.
his whole demeanor just I mean, nothing can rile this guy.
Yeah, I mean, he really was a pleasant individual, especially on air. I mean, we had some technical difficulties when we first were trying to get it aired. Just the reason the YouTube video isn't up yet, but that's going to
Yeah,
be up here by Monday.
a lot of difficulties, which was odd because it was about angels, and you think
Yeah,
the angels helping out.
you would think so. We answered questions such as, what's it like to channel angels? How does it feel to reach a higher consciousness of the universe? And what do you do when you have a spiritual being tell you that the new earth is coming? The episode artwork is up here for you to see on the screen, both the podcast episode and the YouTube episode, which I'm hoping to get up by Monday. Let me ask you, what did you think of the show? I mean, you took the time to listen to it. Sometimes you listen to when I'm editing, but you don't
Yeah.
get the full experience because I stop and I go and I stop and I go and I stop and I go.
No, this one I actually listened to while I was working. And it was funny because, I'm getting really involved in my stuff, and then something, I'm hearing it and I'm like, wait, what was that again? And rewinding it and hearing it again and really wanting to understand and digest what he was saying, you know.
Yeah, he kind of draws you into the conversation, which I really liked. I enjoyed. Like I said, I've had, and Diane, then I've had other conversations with people that channel angels, and I've had some hits and some misses.
Yeah.
Laura Powers was a great conversation, and I believe wholeheartedly she's in the same class as Seth,
Yeah.
and there's others, a couple of them. They were great conversations, but I didn't have as much faith in those individuals. So some episodes I aired, some of them I did not. Um, what if you knew, like the angels told you, that there's going to be a new earth and that things are changing? Would you keep it to yourself, Diane, or would you share it with the world?
I think I would share it with friends and family for sure, and kind of get their, I guess it would depend on how much everybody um, reacted to it, I would want to share it with the world, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't think anybody can do it as well as Seth does. I mean, he's just he's just so he's so good, and you want to be in his presence, and I think that it would have to come across that way to tell the world about this.
Well, I mean, you obviously loved the episode, and so forth. What would you like about the show? I mean, earlier mentioned you kind of gave me a little bit description of the show about what you enjoyed, but what did you specifically like about it? Anything stand out that the
I
people can look forward to?
Well, I think that he's so forthright and honest about what he gets from the angels, and I think from okay, so I already believe in this stuff. I wholeheartedly believe this is all happening, and that we are shifting, and that we all have our own way of contributing to that.
Yeah.
But I think that there's going to be people out there that are going to be completely on the opposite end of it, going, "What are you talking about? Oh, come on, really?" And okay, but I think that he is one that can get through to those people.
Yeah, it's interesting that it- from the perspective of his background, which you'll learn about in the episode, we have a lot in common. He grew up Catholic, and I grew up Catholic. So in the Catholic religion, there's a little stigma about whether or not you can actually talk to angels because they think that not everybody can do that, and we won't go into that in big detail. But
Yeah.
Steph and I talk a little bit about it on the show, which is important. But coming from his background in his strict religious upbringing, it's interesting this path that he has taken. And I think that comes across in the episode pretty well.
Yeah.
Is there anything you didn't like about it?
Nope. Not one thing.
Thank you. Thank you very much. uh,
No,
do
it was
you
good.
did you learn anything from it? I mean, I learned. I again, I've had numerous conversations, but I always learned something new from each one of them. And
Mhm.
I learned some really interesting things from Seth about the methodology that he uses for connecting and talking with the angels and how he delivers his message.
Mhm.
And again, I don't want to give it away completely, and I'm not trying to be evasive because we want you to listen
Well,
to the episode.
right. We don't want it, right. We don't want any spoilers.
Yeah,
Um, I think that you know how my brain works. It doesn't work most of the time. Um, I
I'm not gonna touch that. That's
I
the angels talking to me.
yeah, saying don't touch that one. I think that um, just how he answers every question with, "Well, the angels tell us, and the angels want us to know, and the angels, where he's I really truly believe that he is answering. He's hearing them as he's talking
Yeah,
and getting the answers from them as we're in a conversation with him, and he's just relaying it. He's not trying to make it his own. He's not trying to put his own spin on it. This is what he is being told,
yeah, and I
and
think
it across as being very authentic.
yeah, and I think that even when we talked on the show itself, we do anybody that comes on my show, we do like a little chat before we even start the show. We kind of fine tune some things and make sure that we're on the same page and let them know about the format and everything. And he was from the get go. He was very um, calm. He was very put me at ease as well because sometimes when I go to interview people, and it's maybe because I used to, I was a cop. I always go into an interview with a little bit of apprehension at first because everybody's got their own motives. Even coming on a podcast, everybody's got
Yeah.
their motive, and their motive could be, some people I've interviewed that say, well, I interview them about a book and about their book, the one they wrote, because they want to come on the show and talk about their book, and I'll say,
Which
well,
is it's understandable that they want to do
yeah,
that,
but when they come
but
on and you go, okay, where'd you grow up? And they go, that's in the book.
yeah.
And then you say, well, let's move a little bit forward and tell me about did that influence you as a writer? Well, that's in the book. Seth had absolutely no issues whatsoever with delving right into this conversation, sharing his past, sharing the journey going from where he was to where he is today in regard to channeling. He's an intuitive as well, so he doesn't just channel. And when he says channel, it's not your standard channel that you would think of where he turns his body over to them.
Right, right.
Um, but but he also talks to people on the other side, so he's a medium as well. So he gives people closure and
And
things. So
uh, um, he does hypnotherapy too,
yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
he?
and hypnotherapy is part of it exactly. Did you have a favorite part that somebody should be anticipated to hear? Like any particular part of the episode that stuck out to you the most that kind of really went, oh wow, it's an aha moment or something?
It's funny. I'm really the aha moments I'm kind of getting listening to his podcast. Not that the episode didn't do that. I just can't remember right now.
Well, it's really funny because I was just thinking in my head, see, we're communicating.
We have,
It's the angels talking back and forth. You had an opportunity to listen to a couple of his shows and a couple of his episodes. He's got two podcasts that he does on his own, other than the intuitive and the channeling. One is called Talk to My Angels, and the other one is Earth Angels International. Himself, what did you think of his
well,
episodes?
I think I got through episode 3, so 1 through 3 of Talk to My Angels, and the the thing that stands out for me on that was he has an analogy of how to help us to understand how we can connect with source and how we can listen more to our inner being, and he likens it to a lamp, and
It's
a lamp
interesting.
a lamp being plugged in. So a lamp is always a lamp, whether it's plugged in or not, it's a lamp. You plug it in and that's how you get the light. And that's sort of what he says about us and source. If we're plugged into our inner being and we're plugged into source, we have our light.
Oh, that's really interesting. That's kind of, we talked a little bit about that, but not in the lamp analogy.
Yeah,
So yeah,
and
we talk.
out of the podcast that I got.
Yeah.
You
So you
know,
enjoyed them,
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'm going to keep listening. And I totally recommend everybody listening.
but
Um,
listen to
yeah,
ours first.
yeah, that's what I was about to say. You know, listen to ours too, so you can kind of get a feel for him before you jump into his, because he actually says that Talk to My Angels is meant to be like a master class in the ascension process. And I think that if somebody isn't real familiar with any of this first and they jump into that, I don't know that they're going to get out of it what he means for us to get out of it, you
Yeah, and
know?
and you can learn that through the episode, our episode
It
201.
kind of explains more of the basics in your episode. So I would highly recommend doing that first and then going to his. Um, and I really hope people do. I hope people are really willing to open their minds to this process, and what it could mean for humanity,
Hmm.
and that we all need to work together to get this done, because man, the world,
It's a
the world,
mess.
yeah.
It's a mess. It's a mess. So your inner feeling, your gut feeling, you think you really
Hmm.
talk to angels?
Absolutely. Yeah. 100% I believe it.
100%. And that comes across when you talk to him too. He's a very pleasant individual.
He's
Um, well, you and I
it,
had the
it,
pleasure of meeting with Seth for dinner a few days
yeah.
after the interview.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting it.
Mhm.
But he just, right after he says, we're not that far from each other here. We live close. Well, not really close, but enough. And he goes, I'm coming down to Phoenix and for some business, and you want to meet for coffee or for dinner or something. And we did. And, there we got to meet him in person and outside of a studio environment. And he still was a great individual. He's a great
Yeah.
person in general, not just a podcast guest and a podcaster, and what he does for other people,
Mm-hmm.
including his Angels International. Um, I believe that he's just a really kind individual. He's very very open. He listens. He pays attention. When you engage him in a conversation, he looks you in the eye.
Mm-hmm.
So I like it. Yeah, I like it. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah. He's definitely a light in this world for sure.
So your recommendation, should people come and listen to the episode and then watch it on YouTube when it comes out?
Yes, absolutely. Especially how hard you've worked to get that done on YouTube. There's
Yeah,
a lot of,
we've had some the M1 and I, Mac M1 and I are having a little we're having a discussion of our own. We'll call it that.
having a little.
Well, I've been I've been an Apple person since 1984. So my first Apple product I bought in 1984. So it was an Apple II. And I've been an Apple person ever since then. And I think of them as my children whenever I get one of the products. And right now I'm mad at one of our kids. But,
At least you're not mad at Katie or Nicole. That's,
well, exactly. So, what do you think our listeners and our viewers are going to get from listening to Seth and I talk?
well, I think it's depending on where they're at in this belief system, this knowing of ascension process. Someone who has never heard of it, or you know just has no idea about it. I think they're going to get a basic understanding of what we can learn from angels and what we can learn from our um, listening to our own inner beings. And then
D-
those that are, like we're already in it and we completely believe in it. I think it just helps us to move through each day more with, okay, yeah, that was confirmed. Now this is really happening.
do you think it will inspire, motivate, and educate?
I hope so. I
Uh,
I think so. Sure.
That's our goal.
Yep.
Well, this has been short and sweet, and we really appreciate if you want to be part of one of our after show episodes and come on the show and have a conversation with Diane and I about the previous show or another one that you have listened to, please reach out and send me an email to Michael at onemorethingbefore-you-go.com. That's Michael, Michael, at onemorethingbefore-you-go, all spelled together.com. And don't forget to listen to our episode 201 on any of your favorite listening platforms, or go to beforeyougopodcast.com. That's beforeyougopodcast.com. And you'll have links to any one of your favorite platforms and or be able to watch the YouTube channel from that website. In addition, if you have a story of your own that you would like to share, there's this little microphone on the webpage there that you can leave me a personal message, and I'll get right back to you. So I think that I really enjoyed that. I know I really enjoyed doing that episode, and I really appreciate had this opportunity to have an after show. We're going to call it. What are we going to call it? A way after show?
Way after show.
The way after show. What the way? Have Nicole do us a graphic way. The way after show. Let us know what you think, please. We're happy to engage with you and to connect with you, and take some opportunity to help you come more into the One More Thing Before You Go family. And always remember, all it takes is a moment of clarity and courage to change your life. And one more thing before you go, have a great day, have a great week, and thank you for listening.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening to this episode of One More Thing Before You Go. You can find us as well as subscribe to the program and rate us on your favorite podcast listening platform. One More Thing Before You Go, a unique conversation about life podcast, is a creation of One More Thing Productions, established 2010, all rights reserved.